Welcome to this video. Today we will discuss voltage divider biasing network for BJT. This is the most widely used biasing network. So the circuit diagram is shown here. If you remember the circuit diagram of emitter bias configuration, you can see that the only difference is a single resistance RB is now replaced by a potential divider consisting of two resistors R1 and R2. In emitter bias, we had a single resistance RB connected to the base. So here it is replaced by a potential divider consisting of R1 and R2. That is why the name voltage divider biasing or potential divider biasing. So in this video we will evaluate the operating point of the transistor in this particular configuration. Then we will analyze the performance of the circuit when temperature changes and when beta changes. Okay, so let us first evaluate the operating point. So operating point of BJT in this configuration. So operating point means values of VCE and IC. So I have shown two copies of the same circuit here. You can see that the resistance R1 and RC are connected to VCC. Okay, so I can show it in a different way. On the circuit shown on the right side, I will make changes. So here R1, top end of R1 is connected to VCC. Okay. Similarly, the top end of RC is connected to VCC. So I will show two separate voltage sources VCC here. So this will not affect the circuit in any way. So these two circuits are still equivalent. Similarly, if you observe the circuit, two bottom ends of R2 and RE are connected together and it is connected to ground. So I can show two separate grounds instead of showing a single ground. R2 is connected to ground and RE is also connected to ground. So these two circuits are exactly equivalent without any change. Okay, the only difference is I have shown two separate sources and two separate grounds. Now let me draw a partition here separating these two parts. So on the left side of the dotted line, if you observe the circuit, you have an independent voltage source and two resistors R1 and R2. So this is a perfectly linear circuit. So on the left side of the dotted line, we have a linear network. On the right side, due to the presence of this transistor, we have a non-linear network. Okay. Now we can simplify the linear network using Thevenin's theorem. So we will go to the next page. So now what we are having is a linear network connected to a non-linear network. So this linear network can be replaced by an equivalent voltage source VTH in series with an equivalent resistance RTH, Thevenin equivalent resistance RTH. So this is by Thevenin's theorem. By Thevenin's theorem, any linear network at two terminals can be replaced by an ideal voltage source VTH in series with an equivalent resistance, Thevenin resistance RTH. Okay. So on the for the nonlinear network, there is no change. We have not touched the nonlinear network. So this is our original network. So this linear part will be replaced by its Thevenin equivalent. So what will be VTH, Thevenin equivalent voltage? That is the open circuit voltage seen from these terminals. One terminal is this one, the other terminal is common ground. So the open circuit voltage seen at this terminal is the VTH value. So what is VTH here? So let me copy this. So open circuit means you can open this out, open this terminal out. Now evaluate the voltage at this point. What is the open circuit voltage at this terminal with respect to ground? So this is a simple circuit with a voltage source and two resistors. So suppose current I is the current flowing through this network. What is I? I is VCC divided by R1 and R2 are in series. So VCC by R1 plus R2. That is the current flowing through these two resistors when I open this out. So open circuit voltage at this terminal VOC or VTH is the voltage drop across R2. Voltage drop across R2, that is I into R2. VTH is I into R2. So I is VCC by R1 plus R2 into R2. So that is the value of VTH. So remember this, VTH is VCC into R2 by R1 plus R2. So we got the value of Thevenin voltage. Now what is RTH? So if you look at the circuit, this is the linear part. And we are looking from this terminal with respect to ground. Okay, so what is the equivalent resistance seen from this port? So to evaluate Thevenin equivalent resistance, you have to deactivate all the independent sources in the circuit. So deactivate the only independent source, that is VCC. So kill this source. So when you deactivate this source, this point will be grounded. So this point becomes ground. So what happens? Now the circuit changes to this. Both R1 and R2 are connected like this. One end of R2 was already grounded. Now R1 and R2 have a junction in common. Then the other end of R1 is now grounded because we deactivated VCC. So R1 is also now grounded. So what is this? R1 parallel R2. So the equivalent resistance seen from this port is R1 parallel R2. So RTH is nothing but R1 parallel R2. So we got the value of both VTH and RTH. Now we can analyze the circuit by applying KVL on the input side. So on the input side, now we have VTH in series with the RTH. Now this is connected to what? If you look at the circuit, you can see this will be connected to base. Okay, here it is connected to base of the transistor. So our equivalent circuit will be connected in series with the base of the transistor. And the emitter terminal is grounded through RE. Then there is a collector circuit resistance RC, and this is VCC. Now you can apply KVL on the input side. You can apply KVL on this path. So when I write KVL, what is the KVL equation here? So VTH is equal to, what is the current flowing through RTH? RTH is connected in series with the base. So the current is IB. So drop across RTH is plus minus IB into RTH. Now there is a drop across base emitter terminals, that is VBE, plus drop across RE. What is the current flowing through RE? IE. So it is IE into RE. Okay. Now suppose this is equation number 1. Now we can replace IE by IC plus IB, and IC is nothing but beta IB. So it is beta plus 1 into IB. So I can replace IE by beta plus 1 into IB. So the equation number 1 becomes VTH is equal to IB into RTH plus VBE plus beta plus 1 into IB into RE. Okay, so here IB can be taken as a common factor. So this is IB into RTH plus beta plus 1 into RE plus VB. Now we can write an expression for IB. So IB will be VTH minus VB divided by this quantity. So IB is VTH minus VB divided by RTH plus beta plus 1 into RE. Okay, so this is the expression for base current. Now how will you calculate collector current? We need collector current. IC is nothing but beta IB. So it is beta into this expression, VTH minus VB divided by RTH plus beta plus 1 into RE. Okay, so we got one coordinate of the operating point IC. Now we have to calculate VCE, the other coordinate. So to calculate VCE, we can apply KVL on the output side. We can apply KVL here. Here we can apply KVL. So you can see that there is a voltage drop across RC, that will be ICRC because IC is the current flowing here. Then there is a potential drop across collector emitter terminals, that is VCE, and potential drop across RE is IERE. So the VCC value will be equal to IC into RC plus VCE plus IE into RE. Okay, this is what you will get when we apply KVL on the output side. So let me copy this expression. So now we can make an assumption. IE is IC plus IB, and IE is typically in milliamperes. IC is also typically in milliamperes, and IB will be in microamperes. So the value of IB is negligible compared to IC. So we can safely assume IE is approximately equal to IC. So this will not cause much error. So we can replace IC. So this is approximately equal to ICRC plus VCE plus IC into RE. Instead of IE, you can write IC. Now we can take IC common from these two terms. So VCC equal to IC into RC plus RE plus VCE. So what is VCE? So VCE will be VCC minus this term, IC into RC plus RE. So that is the expression for VCE. Okay, so this is the expression for VCE. This one is the expression for IC. So we got both the coordinates of operating point. Now we will evaluate the performance of the circuit when temperature changes, temperature variation. Then after that we will evaluate the performance when beta changes. Okay, so to do that, we can copy the first equation number 1 that we have written by applying KVL on the input side. So using this equation, you can comment on the stability of the circuit with the temperature changes. Okay, so this is equation number 1. So if you can rearrange it and write an expression for IB. So IB is equal to VTH minus VB minus this one, IERE, divided by this term, RTH. Okay, so this is just a rearranged form of equation number 1. So when temperature changes, what happens? Suppose temperature increases. So when temperature increases, ICBO will increase. So when ICBO increases, IC will increase. So when IC increases, IE will increase because IE is IC plus IB. So when IE increases, IERE will increase. IERE drop will increase. So when IERE drop increases, this IB will decrease by this expression because this is subtracted from VTH. So IB will decrease. So when IB decreases, IC is beta IB, so IC will decrease. So this decrease in IC counteract the initial increase in IC. So there is a check against indefinite increase in the collector current with the temperature. So it will prevent thermal runaway. So the circuit is stabilized against temperature variations. Now we will observe the performance when beta changes. Second one, beta variation. So to do that, we need the expression for collector current. So we have already evaluated that. So collector current is IC equal to beta IB equal to this one. So let me copy that. So here we can make an assumption. Beta plus 1 is approximately equal to beta. This assumption we have already used. So if you do that, you will get beta into VTH minus VBE divided by RTH plus beta RE. Okay, IC is approximately equal to this. Then if by design RTH is much small compared to beta RE, then what happens? We can neglect this RTH with respect to beta RE. So the equation becomes beta into VTH minus VBE divided by beta RE. So this beta term will cancel. So your expression will be VTH minus VBE divided by RE. What is this? This is the expression for IC. So now IC is independent of beta. So the circuit is stabilized against parameter variations. So we will conclude it here. We will continue in the next video. Thank you.